Hi there. So, my name is Nick Henry, and I am making this video right now because I'm in the process of preparing to make a fan-based Firewatch movie. Firewatch, as many of you would know, um, is an amazing game. Came out a few years ago. It's a first-person game about a 40-year-old bearded fat guy who takes a job just outside of Yellowstone Park in 1989, the year after the fires, to find himself, many have argued, to try to break a alcoholic addiction of his that he kind of slumped into after his wife was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. There's a lot more to it, but you guys get the gist. It's an amazing game. Anyone that plays it, loves it. So, I happen to live in the Northern Rockies. Spent a lot of time hiking in and around Yellowstone. I decided I wanted to make a low-budget film, not no-budget film, about this movie. And the reason I'm making this video right now is not to declare that, to beg for money or anything. What I'm more or less asking for is advice. There are certain things that I can't necessarily do with what I have, but I'm going to make a good run at it. I have access to a couple of watchtowers nearby that I can use. The hardest thing is that getting the permits for the National Forest to film in. Even though I'm not going to sell this movie, I'm not going to make any money off this movie, you need a permit to film in National Forest, and I get that. You know, my thought is, I mean, most of the people that are going to be filming in the National Forest, the big productions, are 60 or more people. I mean, even the questionnaire I had to fill out was, you know, they wanted to know everything about where are people going to go to the bathroom. Well, I could read it to you. I guess the point being, it's serious, except it's just going to be me and a camera, right? Me and my wife, me and a couple other people. The movie has no people in it. Anyway, that being said, that's going to be the hardest part. I'm gonna do my darndest to save up $800, which is what it's going to cost to film for 4 days, and do my best. But anyway, some of the things that I'm going to be doing are, well, right now I'm gathering just a bunch of props, things that you see in the movie. I'm going to be building one catch box, you know, that he opens up. Be changing the numbers on the side. Various things in it, like I have a fake dinosaur claw. I have deer antlers, you know, for my own hunting trips, finding sheds and whatnot. Getting old peachy binders and kind of creating them in Brian Goodwin's fashion. Just little things, you know, that I'm already saving up. I think you might be able to notice I got a picture right here of a cute little raccoon that's going to be hanging up there. Just all sorts of stuff, right? It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Some things I had to change, though. I just had to. For example, if you guys recall in the game, I want to say it's day 64, Henry stumbles across a clipboard down by the lake when he wants to go fishing that Ned leaves intentionally. He has written day 64, June 31st. Okay, June only has 30 days, so that was just kind of, yeah, I'm sure the writers knew about that and put it in there for whatever reason. Well, that puts Henry's arrival up there on the edge of Yellowstone the third week of April. Now, the hike up is gorgeous. It looks like springtime. Problem is, that is not what springtime looks like in and around Yellowstone in the Rockies where this elevation takes place. Most of the time you can't even drive on some roads until the first week of June, right? So the whole thing offset also puts him leaving not too much longer after that. Like, he's abandoning in July, and July is, I mean, yeah, it's fire season here, but fires don't really go ape in and around the Northern Rockies until August when it gets really dry. That being said, I offset the whole thing. So I have July 31st being day 64. So Henry actually hiking up on May 26th and 27th of 1989, and that's a little bit more realistic. But when I filmed this in probably the second week of June to be in May, there's still going to be snow on the ground. Like, that is not uncommon. You don't just, I guess you could, but you really don't just sleep out in the open without, there's a lot of things. And you can kind of tell that the people that made the game aren't really used to that kind of camping and hiking, and that's totally fine. But that's just one of those artistic licenses, you know, that I took. But anyway, a couple other things I'm kind of working on. If you guys recall the beginning of the game, the intro, before you even see the title of the game, is a 2-day hike of Henry's up into the Shoshone wilderness, right? And it's interlaced with a flashback prequel of first meeting your wife in a bar, and what do you do, having all these options. And the great part of the game is that you build up this emotional investment into this character before the game even starts, which is really neat. So by the time the game starts, you already know who this guy is. You're brokenhearted, hurt, confused, those things that just kind of come with midlife, you know, not necessarily. But anyway, but how to reflect that into the movie. You can't have people watching the movie make choices, you know, so how to do that. Well, the solution that I came up with is kind of in the game. At the beginning, it talks about how after your wife has already been diagnosed with early onset dementia or Alzheimer's, you start drinking a lot, going out to the bar, setting the tone for where this guy eventually goes, but you end up opening up to a bartender, and that's in the beginning, and you tell her everything, and it's a big load off your mind. And I thought, hey, why not make this a flashback sequence that interlaces with Henry making the hike up? So when he tells this bartender, I want to say her name is either Sheila or Shelby. I'm just completely drawing a blank right now, but I'm going to take a quick look. Maybe I can find it by the time Sheila. So I'm going to find a bar here in Great Falls where I live, and an actress willing to play a bartender. And yeah, so it's basically just about, you know, Henry talking to this bartender, and that's going to be how you hopefully start getting to know this character before the movie even starts. So, but I have all sorts of props I've bought and built. I emptied out a Jameson bottle, and I created a label that looks just like the Ferreter Irish whiskey that he finds down by the lake. Obviously, you can throw that in the river, you know, but I chose to have him keep it. Anyway, I want this to kind of open a dialogue between myself and all those amazing fans of that amazing game out there. You know, to kind of just give me a hand. If someone says, hey, by the way, I made this and it looks exactly like this in the game, and I'm willing to send it to you for a year, great, right? I don't know. I'm kind of doing this alone, and obviously when you do anything alone, it's a little bit lonely, kind of like Henry, right? Not to mention, Henry being my last name, I even feel a little more connected to him, so. Yeah. So that's what I got. I've even bought an old typewriter, same color as Henry's. There's little things that there's just going to be no way I can duplicate it. There's a guy driving around town here with an old orange 70s truck, early 70s truck, which looks just like Henry's. So I'm going to try to run that guy down one of these days and, you know, buy him a beer and friend him and just say, hey, if I slide you, you know, $50 in a case of beer next spring, can you drive it up to this trailhead and let me film a scene there? So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. The music, You can't have Firewatch without the music. Um, and again, I'm not going to make any money off of it. I mean, the copyright thing. I've emailed Chris Remo, and obviously he has no obligation to write me back. I would like the blessing. Like I say, this movie's not going to make any money. You know, all credit's going to go to those people that produce this stuff. You know, and it's a fine line, I guess, and I'm hoping they find it in their heart to realize I'm trying to do this for the right reasons. You know, anyway. Chris Remo actually did, if you can find it here on YouTube, the song for Old Shoshone. And I think, boy, that would just be amazing to put into the film. And, I mean, the movie takes place in '89, and every '80s movie's got their training montage, right? Of some kind, whether it be Rocky, Karate Kid. So I'm going to do like a little 2.5 minute, however long the song is, of a little montage of what happens to Henry in that huge gap between, I think it's like day 19 and day 64 or whatever those days are. It's like, what's going on with him, you know? Maybe he, I don't know, maybe he finds a wild mushroom and decides to eat it, I don't know. Definitely find some wild strawberries or something and fill his belly until he gets a bellyache and just rolls around like a bear. Maybe spend some extra time at that Native American medicine wheel that he stumbles across, you know. Anyway, I want to incorporate that song into it. I even have a friend who has other good friends that are that work with fighting fires, so with any luck, I get a chance to maybe sit in a Huey for the final scene. But anyway, start following this. Start reaching out to me, please. Comment below. Yeah, I think it'll be fun.